Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Darwin Green. He's the CEO of Constantine Metals. Constantine's a company I've followed for several years. They've got a very nice high-grade VMS, and that means basically copper, zinc, silver, gold project, essentially near Tidewater in Alaska. They've been working on it for a few years, but things really started to accelerate last year, and they're going to accelerate a lot more this year. So it's a very timely story. Maybe Darwin, you want to give us like the short version of, what you're basically hoping to accomplish this year, because I know there's a lot of stuff ahead of you, a lot of reporting, a lot of news coming.
Yeah, okay, Eric, thanks. And I like your vote of confidence, but I'm VP Exploration, not CEO.
I always think you're CEO.
Anyhow, it's going to be a really big year for us. We've spent some time in the early part of the year getting the ship in shape in terms of share structure and capital to be with a fundraise to tee us up for a big exploration season.
Yeah. You guys just raised $10 million. Right?
That's correct. Yep. And we brought in a really key strategic shareholder in Electrum. They're a New York-based private equity group that have a very successful track record, very selective. Really targeting fundamental value opportunities. Very pleased to have them.
They're a big Kamenak. Capital is a really big Kamenak shareholder.
That's absolutely. And so our plans this year, it's kind of a bit of a transition season for us. We've been an exploration play for a long time. This year, we're looking to start looking at the economics of the project. We're starting with some new metallurgy, updating our resource. These are things that are underway right now, and we expect to have complete in the coming weeks and months. And then on the back of that new resource, we will do a PEA. Which will be the first time an economic analysis has been done on the project. And so we're very excited about that. And in addition to that, we're going to have one of our bigger drill campaigns that's going to be focused on expanding our existing resources and testing some of these other great targets we've been itching to drill for a long time.
Well, now that you've got now that we've got a slightly better market, and you've always had a great shareholder and supporter in Sean Tognetti, but an added strategic shareholder in Electrum. You guys were able to push a little bit harder on the exploration side, and I can remember being up on the project 4 or 5 years ago, and we flew around and looked at some awesome showings. There's stuff like, God, you got to get drill holes in this thing. Last year, you drilled one of them, the AG zone. I don't know if you want to throw a couple of drill holes at people off that one. There were some great numbers came off that.
Yeah,
yeah. Brand new, never drilled before.
Yeah, no, absolutely. These are things that are sticking out of the ground that haven't been drilled. So our first drill hole ever to test that prospect hit 10 meters about 10 meters of 8 to 10 ounces silver. We followed that up with 24 meters of 8 ounces silver and about a gram gold. There's another sort of 17 to 20 meters of 10% zinc in some other holes. So brand new discovery, brand new prospect. We've got 13 holes into the system, 10 of which all hit significant mineralization. So, and it's wide open on both sides. You go through the mountain, you see same looking mineralization pop out on surface on the other side. So we've got reason to think it's got.
No, do you think you'll have an inferred there at the end of this season?
That's our objective. We're gonna try and include that. We'll see what the resource modelers say, but it's our objective to we think we have enough there, and it hangs together well enough to get an inferred resource on it. Mm-hmm.
And you're going to drill a couple of new exploration targets, but you might want to remind people that maybe don't know the story. What are you sitting on now? Because you've already got a resource at RW and Southwall where you first started out.
Yeah, so we've got 8 million tons. It's about 12.6% zinc equivalent, but really it's equal parts copper to zinc. And so we like having that exposure, both those commodities. They're both very good metals, I think, to be in. But that was last done with drilling to the end of 2014. So we've had 3 years of drilling since then. So it will be a significant update. We had some very good success last season, expanding our Southwall zone. And so we're pretty keen to get that updated resource out.
Okay, so you're going to have, at least 10,000 meters of drilling, 3 or 4 different targets, metallurgy, updated resource, PEA. Actually, one thing we should touch on, because it's kind of an interesting, you don't know how it's going to work out yet, I recognize that, but it's one of the quirks, I guess, of this project is very high barite content. Like when you go, when we went and looked at those show-ins, there's like barite, massive barite all over the place. You're thinking that barite may itself be a very saleable product as part of the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is unique. You know, in most massive sulfide deposits, we call them VMS, for volcanogenic massive sulfide, all of your gangue minerals, your non-ore minerals are sulfides, pyrite, pyrrhotite. At Palmer, it's the sulfur is tied up in a sulfate, which is called barite. It's an inert, stable, environmentally benign mineral that's very dense, and it's an industrial mineral that's used extensively in the oil and gas drilling. Currently,
drill mud is barite,
drill mud.
Basically.
That's right. It's a weighting agent. It's very dense, so they use it as a weighting agent. There's been a pretty consistent demand for the product, and
how big is the market for this?
It's about 8 million tons globally. So the U.S. is about 3.5 to 4 million tons. We would envision producing, if we can include it, around a couple 100,000 tons a year. So maybe 5 to 10% of the U.S. domestic market. 80% of the U.S. market is actually imported from places like China, India, Morocco, mostly from overseas. And what's kind of neat, all those places, they just mine barite for barite.
Right.
For us, our deposit, we see it's going to be about 25% of the deposit is barite. So that would normally be waste if we're not recovering it.
Right.
We're mining it for free, basically. We're mining for the copper and zinc, so you get it for free. All you need is your incremental cost of separating it and putting it on a boat to the market to make it economic. And so the key for us...
Would it make much difference, do you think? Like if the barite works, is the impact relatively large?
It is, and I want to state first and foremost, this is a project that's going to stand on its own 2 feet very well with copper and zinc, but it's more than a byproduct. This would be considered a co-product. Right. It sells for about $200 a ton, landed in Texas right now, and that's raw ore barite that then gets processed. We would be producing a finished product, so at 25%, $200 a ton, you can do the metal. First, for us though, we need to do the metallurgy to firm up that we can produce a saleable product.
And this is sort of impurities and stuff, that sort of thing? Yeah,
exactly, there's grain size, impurities, density. We've got reason to believe that it will work, but we need to back that up with some metallurgy, and that's ongoing right now.
And just as an aside, I mean, the fact that you've got this, so much of your gang is, say, barite as opposed to pyrite, pyrrhotite, aside from whatever does or doesn't happen with the barite, does that help you in terms of permitting? I mean, does that mean you've got less acidic, presumably?
Well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, people think VMS and it's sulfides that can be problematic environmentally from a management standpoint, and there's a lot of work done that can manage those well, but it costs money. Barite, it's completely inert. It's a very stable, insoluble mineral, and so it's a huge advantage from an environmental standpoint.
So this will be a cleaner tailings or whatever.
Yeah,
if they
exactly.
If they end up not going into bags, it still helps.
Exactly. Either way, it's a good thing to have. The only negative with the barite is it's not conductive,
right.
And like the sphalerite. So we were talking earlier, we flew an airborne geophysical survey. Some of our deposit responds, but probably 70-80% doesn't respond to the geophysics because the barite and the sphalerite don't conduct. So when we flew this airborne geophysical survey last year, we covered the whole property. We were able to fingerprint south wall of where our main deposit is, and we can see it. Our RW zone, we don't see it all. Some of our zones we don't see, but parts of south wall we do. We were able to take that fingerprint and apply it around the rest of the property to see if we see anything similar. Right. And we have 6, 7, 8 prospects, target areas that look that we're pretty excited about.
I know there was one. I think Boundary was the one that you guys are going to drill this year. Right?
Yeah, we're pretty excited about that one. It's an area we've always liked. It's a big, thick alteration zone. We've got 13% copper, 19% zinc in float samples that are coming. It's kind of undercover, but we know that where the source should be coming from. Right. A huge alteration zone. So it's an area we wanted to drill before, and now it has probably the best geophysical signature out of the whole property area. So we're real excited about getting go test that one. Yeah.
And you guys are probably mobbing now?
Yeah, crews are up on site now, getting the camp opened up. Drills should be getting on the trucks here any day now to make their way up to the site, and so we expect the first week of June to start things off.
Great. Okay, there you have it. Stocks tightened up because they did a consolidation, $10 million, big drill program, 2 or 3 different technical and economic studies, tons of news flow this year. I think Constantine's going to have a great year, and this stuff that you're drilling, I mean, you guys have generated some awesome drill holes, and I think you're set up to really wake people up again on this one.
Yeah, it should be a good year.
All right. Thanks for coming
Thank
by,
you,
Darwin.
Eric.
Okay.